This is Craig Fear with Fearless Eating, and welcome to my kitchen today. As you can see, I've recruited some help today to do a grain-free pizza. This is my friend Catherine Koss of Primal Bliss Nutrition, and she's going to help us today with a grain-free pizza. I'm not a big grain-free cooking guy, so I asked Catherine to come in today and help me out a little bit, and she's graciously agreed to come in and help me out a little bit and give us some pointers here for how to do some grain-free cooking, especially of course with the pizza we're going to do today, which I'm really excited about because I grew up in New York and I love pizza. So let me just introduce Catherine. So Catherine, you tell us a little bit about like how you got into primal cooking and kind of how you got into your blog and kind of how you got into this whole way of kind of eating.
Okay, well, a couple of years ago I was diagnosed with a couple autoimmune diseases, and I started changing the way I ate, and I found that I started off by cutting out gluten, and I found that that made a huge difference in how I felt. However, a lot of the gluten-free options out there are very high in sugar and packaged and processed, and so you're still I was still feeling lousy even though I was feeling better in some aspects. So I started researching more and learned about the paleo-primal lifestyle, which is eating more how our early ancestors ate, nutrient-dense whole foods. And I found that it made a huge difference in how I felt. I used to struggle with anxiety, and that went away completely. My skin cleared, I started to feel better, and my autoimmune factors went way down. So I feel my best eating this way.
Great. And you also just wrote a book, right, called, tell us a little bit about the book.
I also feed my kids a primal diet, or try to. It's hard, with school and friends and everything, but I do the best I can. And I found that people on I started a blog probably about a year after going primal to help share some of my recipes, and I started my son, who's in the first grade now, was in kindergarten last year, and I started packing his lunches and started packing primal lunches and then sharing them on my blog, and they became very popular. So I wrote a book called Joshua's Primal Lunchbox.
Yeah, and she's got a great Facebook page. It's Primal. Is it Primal Bliss Nutrition or just Primal Bliss?
Primal Bliss Nutrition.
Primal Bliss Nutrition on Facebook. She posts a lot of recipes, specifically the lunch recipes she does for her kids. And your website is www.primalblissnutrition.com?
Yes.
Yep. And you can find her ebook there as well. It's a great ebook. I've read it, and it's really great if you're a parent and you have kids and the kid, maybe he or she has some food allergies, or you just want to learn to feed them better. So yeah, so check it out.
It's also good for big people if you need lunch ideas.
There you go. So we're gonna get into the grain-free pizza recipe right now.
So now we're gonna make a grain-free pizza dough. So we're gonna start with 1 1/4 cups of almond meal, and you dump it in the bowl. And then 3/4 cup of tapioca starch. Dump it in. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I used a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And I'm just gonna dust it in. So then you're gonna take a whisk and whisk together the dry ingredients. Break them up.
Stubborn. Can't wait to eat this. And the good thing about this is it doesn't take that long to cook, right? I mean,
No, it takes about 10 minutes to cook, and then you just put the toppings on in another 8 to 10 minutes.
Right, so start to finish, we're talking, maybe about half hour, maybe 40 minutes?
Yes, tops.
Yeah.
So then we're gonna add 2 eggs.
Oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful orange yolk. Got that from a local farm here.
I'm adding a teaspoon of chopped minced garlic and about a tablespoon of fresh chopped basil, and about 1/3 cup of milk. If you can't do dairy, you can do almond milk, works as well. And then you're just going to mix it up. I think we're gonna mix it with the mixing spoon. It's getting stuck in there.
Don't be afraid to make a mess. Don't worry. If it hits the ceiling, we'll clean it up later.
There we go. Yeah, it works better here. So we're just mixing it up to make a dough. And then you're gonna have a greased cookie sheet, and the oven will be set to 425.
Looks great.
So you're gonna take, just gonna make sure it's good and mixed, and then you take it and you spread it around onto the greased cookie sheet.
Turn it over.
Make sure we get it all. And then you're just gonna spread it around so that it's nice and thin to put, so you have like a pizza crust.
I love that there's basil in there. It's a nice addition there.
It adds a nice Italian.
I mean, you could throw anything. You could throw like
flavor.
oregano or thyme, or anything you want.
Yes, definitely. And if you have a big family that you're feeding, you can double this recipe and make a much bigger crust as well. So I'm just kind of shaping it and spreading it thin.
Now is that going to puff up a little? Is that going to rise a little bit?
It doesn't. No, it's kind of like, it's not a super thick crust. It's not a super thin crust. It's kind of a medium. I'm kind of a perfectionist here.
You get the idea though. So
And
you
then
can do anything you want. You can make it into rectangles, right?
Yes,
Whatever.
yes.
Be as creative as you want.
And then you just pop it in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes and then take it out and put the toppings on.
All right, let's pop it in there, and we'll come back in 8 to 10 minutes, and we'll put the toppings on. Okay, so we just took the dough out of the crust out of the oven, and it has risen a little bit. I don't know if you can see it from it's risen a little. Not focusing too well, but okay, Catherine. So tell us what's next.
So we pulled the dough out of the oven, and I took a spatula and just went around and loosened it to make sure that it wasn't stuck to the pan, so it lifts off nice. And then you're going to take some, I use Muir Glen Organic, some pizza sauce, or you could even make your own pizza sauce by adding your own spices, but this is the easiest.
Yeah, you can make your own. You could use any tomato sauce, right?
Yes.
There was Muir Glen's a great company. They have a lot of different types of tomato sauce, but they have a pizza sauce as well, which is basically just tomato sauce with a bunch of Italian herbs in it.
So we're going to just spread that on.
Now don't skimp on the sauce.
Oh my gosh. You like a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the cheese.
Okay.
Nice.
So this is a very
So let's go with one more.
saucy.
One more.
Okay.
We have someone who's very curious over here. What do you think, Lipton? Looks good, huh?
Okay, and so then we're going to put some cheese on.
All right.
And you said you like lots.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm from New York. I like that cheesy New York pizza. Great.
How's that? A little more?
One more. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, and then
Okay.
we're going to put some, so we chopped a few leaves of fresh basil, and we're just going to sprinkle it on, spread it around.
And you can put anything you want at this point. You could put pepperoni, sausage, any vegetables you want.
We decided to do some sliced tomatoes.
And then, how long are we going to bake this for?
This is going to go back in the oven for about 8 to 10 more minutes, and then it's done.
And it's done, and it's going to be lunchtime. What do you think? We'll see if you get some. I don't know. It is grain-free though, so hey. Yes.
I'm going to put just a crack of fresh pepper right on top.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, all right. In the oven, it's going to go. And all right, so we just brought it out of the oven, and there is the final product. Looks beautiful. You want to slice it up?
Yes.
So we'll slice this up. We got our pizza slicer here and ready to chow down. Yeah.